With a binomial distribution, even though they know that you're going to use your calculator, you guys, this is the one formula that they give you on the formula sheet and that they're going to expect you to use and know how to fill it in, okay? So here we go. Suppose okay, so suppose the random variable x equals the number of successes in n observations. You guys, it's always going to be like that for a binomial, okay? They're going to say, we have 10 trials, we want five successes. Or we have, this could be 20, this could be 30. It's always based on the number of successes. So if that's the case, then what you need to know is that then x is a binomial random variable. Okay? So if x is the number of successes in n observations, then you know that that is called a binomial random variable. The binomial distribution is what we're going to do, okay? The binomial random variable is the x. There are 4 steps or 4 rules for a binomial distribution. This is how you know it's a binomial distribution and you have to answer these questions. There are only 2 outcomes. The outcomes are either success or failure. So when we took our quiz, you guys, we had, you either got the question right or you got it wrong. And it's like with most quizzes, but in this particular quiz, you guys, you could either get it right or you could get it wrong. The second rule of a binomial distribution is there is a fixed number of n observations. So in our quiz that we took, there were exactly 10, right? You guys, you could do this in, you could apply this to anything, like the basketball one. You get 10 tries to pull out a red ball, right? Like in a bag, right? What's the probability? But the only thing is, so we're going to talk about that. So you can apply it to anything, but like some things are not. If one thing is missing, it's no longer a binomial. Okay, so there's 2 outcomes, success or failure. You have a fixed number of outcomes, so fixed number of trials. The other thing is that the n observations are independent. Were our questions on our quiz independent? Did number 1's choices affect number 2? No, they didn't. So they're independent, okay? And then the last thing, and we talked about this when we took the quiz, and we noticed that the probability of success is the same for each observation. So a lot of times what they'll ask you is they'll give you a scenario and they'll ask you, is this example or is this scenario, does it fit a binomial distribution? And you have to prove that it does. You have to say, oh, there's only 2 successes, and you have to state, this is a success, this is the failure. There are 10 observations, there are 20 observations. Okay, now, I want to talk about the formula, okay? I'm really going out of my, I usually get to do fun things with you guys, and but it's the first day, so I'm not gonna do it to you. But so to see what your calculator is doing, boy, you guys are tired today. X equals K. K representing the number of successes we want. This is the formula. This is what your calculator is doing.
Can you move the paper down a little bit?
No?
Thank you.
There you go. There we go. Okay. So, and then I'll show you how to put in your calculator. Then it's times the probability, and the P is the probability of success, okay? So the first one is always the probability of success, and K, remember, represents the number of successes. And then you always multiply it by the probability of failure and how many failures you have. So this is the formula that your calculator is doing. I need to tell you that this right here is called the binomial coefficient. And you guys, they ask you a lot about the binomial coefficient. Have you ever done permutations or combinations? Anybody ever done those? Okay, so N choose K is this formula. I'm going to show you how to do it on your calculator, but I'm going to tell you that they're going to want, if this is a free response question, they are going to ask you to write it out, okay? So N choose K is N factorial, not N. Okay, sorry, Alexa, I'm on the phone. Okay, that's my favorite thing to do. Usually I'm louder, but because I'm on a microphone and I'm recording, probably not great. Okay, followed by K factorial, not K. Okay, you know what exclamation points mean, but in math they don't mean you're excited. They don't mean to yell. Okay, and then plus I just wanted to wake you guys up because some of you needed to be woken up. Just, you know, little cha-cha-cha, little yelling. Okay, so the next thing is N minus K factorial. Again, it's not N minus K, it's just N minus K factorial. So that means factorial, okay? Just so you know. Okay, if you're e-learning at home, really sorry, but if you weren't asleep, you're definitely not asleep now. Okay, this is your binomial coefficient. They will ask you to do it. So I just want to do an example with you, okay? So we'll do it with the 10, okay? So we had 10 questions, right, on our quiz. And how many? We wanted 4, right? Because that was the most that we got correct on this quiz. Okay. So what this means is, remember, this is your N, this is your K. So you're going to do 10 factorial over 4 factorial, because that's your k. So n, so 10 is your n, 4 is your k. And then you're going to do 10 minus 4k. So you guys, it's basically, you can see you have so many successes, and then you have your failures. What factorial means is 10 times 9 times 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. Then it's 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. 10 minus 4 is 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. That is what factorial means, and I'll show you how to do it in your calculator. But you guys, if it's a free response question, they're going to want to see work. Sometimes they'll want to see that if they ask you what the binomial coefficient is, they'll want to see this. Not necessarily do you have to do all of this, but I just want to show you what your calculator is doing. Do you see right here? I can cancel this out and cancel this out because they're identical. I can also cancel out like the 4 and the 2. Some kids don't like to do that. Some kids like, do we have to do that? Can we multiply it all? It's up to you and reduce it. But I see 4 and 2 cancel out with the 8, right? I see the 3 cancels out with the 9, I'm left with 3, and now I can multiply. So my binomial coefficient is going to be 210. And with that little gem, we're done. So don't forget to do your AP Classroom. You have it until Friday at 11:45. We'll do some more examples, and there's the bell.